Okay, so today what we are going to see is that we will start from the scratch. That is how we will create an user, how will we create an implementation project, and how are we going to track it, and what is the offering, and what is features, and how do we use it, and also we will go through this general ledger module, and we will try to create a manual JV. So this is the agenda for today. So now I have the Fusion instance. So this is how it will look like. And so this is the layout. So basically to configure or to customize this particular page, what we call is sandbox. So sandbox is the one which will allow us to do the customization for our what we call the entry page. So basically we will have all these products grouped into. So if you see here, we will have the sales. So sales is nothing but the leads and the opportunities and accounts and all those things will be categorized under sales. So similarly, we will have service and we will have myself. So this will give me an understanding that about my personal information, and it will tell me the absence, and it will tell me my leaves, and it will tell me my team and the details of it. Basically, it will give all the relevant information about me. And if I want to book an expense entry, I mean, I have incurred an expense where I can reimburse with my company. So these details I can enter from me. So this is the which we will use. Similarly, we will have all those things. If you see procurement, we will see requisition and receipt and all this information. So this is how a landing page will be in Fusion application, where this kind of an UI we cannot see it in R12. So this is the basic difference. And apart from that, what we want to understand is that we have two things to understand. So one is security console. So where we will click the sidebar and we will come down, we will click tools. So we have scheduled process. So scheduled process is nothing but in EBS it is in reports. So if we want to run a particular report or the report set, we will go to concurrent program to run any report. But whereas here we will say this is an scheduled process. I'm just clicking here. I'll just show how it will look like. Okay, so this is how it will look like. So basically we will have a new schedule. So we can schedule it, and this is where we will refresh. And if we want to cancel this particular request, we can click cancel process and put on hold. So this is usual. So this is how basically it will look like. And then we have security console. So this is where we define users. This is where we define roles and customize roles, and everything will be happen here. So I'll click user. So to add a new user, like in the last session, we saw that there are two kind of users in Fusion. So one is implementation user and the other is employee user. So when we say it is an employee user, the employee basically do any kind of transaction. That is, he will either create invoice or he can create both invoice and payment. So according to his role, we will assign the roles here so that we will customize where a particular employee will access only particular business unit. So that we will customize. But before doing it, so apart from employee user, we also have the implementation user. So what implementation user will do is like he will do only the setup. So he will do setup and he will hand over to the user to test. So according to that, user will test the functionalities and he will give the user acceptance test. So this is how it will work. So I'm just clicking add user account. So here we can see if it is a worker or none. I'm just clicking none because I'm just an implementation user. And category I'm choosing as an default, and I'm choosing Arun as my name, and I'm giving my email ID and this is my username. So with this username, I'm going to log in. So I'm giving password. So here we need to give roles. Unless we add the roles, we will not be able to access anything in the system. So for that, we saw in the last session that we need to give two mandatory roles. One is application implementation consultant. Other one is
Okay.
IT security manager.
System administrator.
Yeah, this is like an no. This is IT security manager is like a system administrator. So this application
Okay.
implementation is used only to the setup. So where in Artful
Okay.
we can do both the setup and test of the transaction, but here it has been splitted out where application implementation consultant will allow us to
Oh, this
create
only
only the
setup.
setup.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm adding IT security. So I'm clicking save and close.
So what's add auto
Ready
provisioned
ஆயிடுச்சா?
role?
Just
அப்படியா? ரெண்டுமே போயிட்டு இருக்கா? பழசு ரெடி ஆயிடுச்சா?
okay, auto
எது?
provision is
ஓல்டா
like
நியூவா?
system will automatically give us the required provision whichever is mentioned for the
ஓல்டு
particular
ஓடிட்டு
role.
இருக்கா?
So if we want to assign specifically, then we
சரி
can
ஓகே
assign. Or
சொல்லுங்க.
else system will automatically take care of assigning all the
Okay.
respective
என்னோட
privileges to
சிஸ்டம்
this particular user.
Okay. Okay, sir.
என்னோடதா? அப்புறம் என்ன பண்ணீங்க?
So I'm logging out and I'll log in with the user which we have created.
ஐயோ. நீங்க முன்னாடி இதே மாதிரி தான் டாஸ்ல
So it
பண்ணீங்க.
is a.taro.
ஒரு இயர் போய். ஓகே 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 தேங்க்ஸ். ஓகே சொல்லுங்க கம்ப்ளீட் ஆகணும். எனக்கு ஓல்டு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணாலும் சொல்லுங்க சரியா? ஓகே தேங்க்ஸ்.
So we are on the same landing page. Yes, a.taro. So here we have the main thing when we speak about the setup. So that is setup and maintenance. So again, this is a new concept in Fusion where we don't have the concept of only giving the setup in artwork. So that is where system administrator will give the relevant access to the particular user, but here we have divided.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we click the setup and maintenance, this is how we will see. So we will see on the left side what are the functionalities which we can choose. So basically, we were discussing in the last session that we have offering and features. So basically, if you see the list, this we can say offerings. And since I have selected compensation management, the relevant features has been displayed. Similarly, if I'm choosing financials, so this is an offering and relevant features will be displayed. So this is kind of a shortcut. So if you try to do configuration for the legal structure, so these are the mandatory items which we want to configure. But this is not the entire list. So if we want to give the entire list, then maybe we need to check this implementation project and we have to go there and do the additional setup. But this is kind of an mandatory setup which the system will require. So this is kind of a shortcut to us. Okay, so this is the basic. And apart from that, I have implementation project. So this is the first step to start with our implementation. I click manage implementation project and I could see different projects created and I'm clicking add button and I'm just naming my project maybe HW. So system has automatically assigned to A dot Arun. So I'm starting this from 1st July and I click next. So now I have created the project and I wanted to inform system that what are the modules or the offerings that I'll be implementing. So this is where we will select it. So I'm just selecting the financials. I click include and these are the sub functions that we will need. So I'm just selecting all the required sub functions. So in case we missed some of the features, then we can add from after creating this also we can add it. That also I will show you. So I have added, I click save and open the project. So basically here we have selected payables features and we have selected receivables and then we have selected expense and different functionalities basically. So for this each functionality, if we want to assign a particular resource, for example, we are selecting this invoicing and payment functionalities. And if we want to assign to a particular resource, then we can assign it from here. So we don't have the active resource. So what we have is only a data room. So apart from that, if we have the resources created already, then we can assign it here so that we can track it one thing. And the other thing is the work is being planned accordingly as per our original project plan. So now we have created our project and we have opted for financial offering and where we have different features inside it. And let's try to create our GL setup, whatever it is required. So where we will start is like we will start with value sets. So we go to define common application configurations and we click enterprise structure. We click sorry, not this one. Sorry, it is define financial reporting structure and click define chart of accounts. I'll go here, manage chart of account value sets. So I click new, add new button. So for this, we need to have certain segments and the chart of account structure for it. So now what we have decided is that for a sample case, I'm just giving two segments and I'll explain each labels, how it will work and all those things. Maybe if you want to try out the different options, definitely you can try out. And if you face any issues or something, come back to me. I'll definitely give you the solution for it. So for simple understanding, I'm just going with two segments. So one I'm creating for company and the other I'm creating for accounts. So I give module that is general ledger and I'm giving validation. This is independent and I'm giving this as an number.
Values.
Yeah, value set data type.
they change it to web form. Yeah, for the faster.
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
No, it's web form for the faster.
The earlier,
It is fast.
sorry, I couldn't hear. The voice is very low actually.
No, it is very faster compared to R12.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes. Yes, R12 it is a bit slow, but this is very much faster.
Having minimum sense capture.
Yeah, yeah. And here, if you see, they have removed few things and they have given the additional view objects and all those informations where we can capture objects from. This is basically to interface with other application or the third party tool or something.
Oh,
Yeah, and here we have this independent where independent not only numbers, we can give the characters also. So where in the character we can select it is a text or a numeric value. So if it is a numeric, we can give maybe I'll give 6. Yeah, can we move or we have any questions?
so Sagana, you understand, right? He's
Yes,
creating
sir. Yes,
values
sir.
and
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I could
programs with
understand.
GL, right?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You are recording, Arun?
Yeah, yes, I'm recording.
Okay.
Okay, so we have created for company and let's create for accounts also. I click save and close. I come here, click add button, and I select general ledger module. I click save and I'm closing this.
So you cannot use it once you created one.
I didn't get you. We cannot edit this
Okay.
what? No, I didn't understand the question. So this is the value set that we have created. So if we want to load the values, we can load from using the Excel or the other forms. Or if you want to add the values manually, we can add it from here. So we will just click add values and we can add it here. I'm adding one sample value.
So can you show how to import, the values? I mean, from the Excel sheet, if you have the option
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. That we will show it after
yeah.
we complete the normal process. So the automation, these
Okay.
things we
Okay.
will show it at last.
Okay.
So I'm just saving it. So similarly for account, I'm adding one value as a default. So we have created value sets. Now I'm clicking save and close. So after we create value sets, we are going to create the structure. So structure is nothing but our segments. So what are the segments that we are going to give and what are the labels we are trying to utilize for the structure. So that we will define, and also we have the instance at a structure level. I mean, structure at an instance level. So what is the difference between structure and instance is not that much. So basically this has been
Voice
taken out.
not clear.
Yeah, it's breaking.
Yeah, is it
No,
fine now? Hello?
problem. What is this? Manager. So on management we can alter or we can edit. Edit is option. Same only.
Now
That's
that,
what I thought.
yeah, correct, yeah. Oh God.
Skills, and now you know the reason behind why it is there.
Correct. Yes, sir. Uh,
Yeah, sorry, there's some internet connectivity issue.
mm.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are in a page where we can create this chart of account structure.
Hmm.
So I'm just selecting with the module. So it is for accounting flex field. So I'm clicking manage structure. So I'm clicking new to add the new flex field structure. So I'm giving the name as WHKFF. So I'm just giving delimiter just I'm choosing as an dot.
Delimiter means separation.
Yeah, separation basically between the
Oh,
different
one segment and other
one
Hmm.
segment.
segment to other segment. How do we want to?
Hmm.
I'm just giving dot.
Oh, they given the option to us. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
In R12, it is what underscore, no? For everything.
Yeah, it will not give the option to us, right?
Option, yeah,
Like
correct, yeah. It is usually what underscore, right? For all the in R12.
middle hyphen.
Hyphen, mid hyphen,
Hyphen.
no? Okay,
Yeah.
hyphen, okay. Yeah.
So the moment we click save, we will be able to see the segments. So we have created the naming convention and everything, and now we will create the segment. So here we can see different segment labels, but in Artful we will not be able to see this much segment labels. So if you see this balancing segment, here you can see that the primary balancing segment, secondary balancing segment, and the third balancing segment. So this is to help us in terms of reporting and other things, one thing. And the primary balancing segment is the actual balancing segment where it will balance the debit and credit. So that is why we call this as a primary balancing segment. And we have the product segment. So basically, if you want to capture as a product segment, so this is again for a reporting perspective. So in Artwell, we will define one segment as a product to track it. But here we have the label that will define this as a product segment. And similarly, we have our project segment. And if you want to capture or track this revaluation, basically. So for that, again, we have it. And similar to Artwell, we have the management segment and we have a natural account segment and we have the intercompany account segments. So these are all like an custom one which was given by Oracle, GSE, LOB, line of business basically.
Oh, it is additional segment.
Yeah, additional. Like in reporting perspective, we
Inbuilt,
can,
they have given this segment.
yeah, yes, this is inbuilt in default one.
Inbuilt. Only you have to choose or you can add other segment. What we want.
Yeah, we
Oh,
can,
it is segment. Okay. Segment type.
la-
Okay,
la-
understand.
yeah, segment
Okay.
labels basically.
Upgrade. You have to give okay.
Yep.
Unlimited minutes. Right.
Okay. So I'm adding company segment. So this API name again it will be used in terms of linking our
Link.
chart of account with the other application. Let's say tomorrow we are linking this with the third party application or another ERP application like SAP or Salesforce. So this will help in terms of mapping the two chart of accounts and get the data from SAP. So this is where the API name will help us. So always it should be in it cannot be in underscore or other special characters cannot be used here in API name.
Okay.
So I'm giving this as the sequence name as one. And I'm giving display with, let's say, maybe 10. And I'm selecting the column name. I'm giving segment one. So segment one is used to store the data in the backend, that is in tables. How do we want to store the data? So I'm giving segment one. And we have we have created the value set already. So I'm just querying that. So usually in R12, basically we will give this percentage and we will try to search. But here it has been removed and we don't need to give percentage. If we know only HW underscore, then maybe we can directly click this and we will get the result. So I'm clicking HW company. And this is our primary balancing segment. So I'm selecting this. I click here and I'm selecting this. So I'm clicking save and close. So we can see that company segment has been created. So I'm creating for accounts as well.
Accounts you will check natural segment.
Yeah, natural account segment. Yeah, similar to Alto.
Okay.
So I'm selecting segment 2 for this account.
So finally you can swap the segment number on 2 or this is the final.
Now this I can
Suppose
give it. Yeah, I can give
no,
even.
now you are doing finalizing all segment. You can change. Suppose you are
No,
creating 5 segment. After that you cannot change, right?
no, after that we cannot change. So basically once we have created, it is not suggested to change the chart of accounts also because we might create, I mean, we might get this data corruption issues. So that is
Okay.
suggested by Oracle.
Okay.
So when we are defining the chart of accounts, we should be little conscious in terms of selecting the segments or defining the segments. Let's say we have created this segment and instead of giving natural account, we have given this the balancing segment. So that will create some what do you call the data corruption issues. So we should be little cautious while selecting this. So I have selected this and I'm selecting natural account segment. So I think we understand this labeling things like the cost centers where we will use it is like when we are doing handling this asset module. So that is where we will use cost center mostly. So because if we wanted to transfer one asset, asset from one location to other location, so where we will transfer between the cost centers and we will track the asset. So that is the purpose of cost center. And we have the intercompany segment. So for an intercompany segment, let's say there is a scenario where The invoices will be created in all over the branches of the operating unit, and the payment is made in a head office. So for those kind of scenarios, we will use this intercompany segment. So where the expense will be occurred in the particular branch office or the operating unit, and the liability will be transferred to the head office to make the payment. So that is how we will understand how the expenses been occurred and how it has been cleared and all those things. In case of centralized payment systems, we can utilize this. So this is one of the example, and we will come across multiple scenarios where we can use the intercompany segment. And we have management segment. Management segment is just to understand the financial position of the company, where we will try to track it. And balancing segment, we know that the debit
Yeah,
and credit should.
okay,
Yeah.
credit. And there was a local use segment, sir?
So again, this is a new segment label that was given by Oracle. This is again for an reporting perspective. If we have given let's say product 2, then if we want to capture it with a different reporting thing, then we can use this local use segment. So these are all the customized thing which was given by Oracle to track the segment level values as the reporting
Okay,
purpose.
okay, sir.
So the actual values, if we see, we will have only the primary balancing segment, cost center, intercompany, and the management to some extent, and the natural account. So these are the actual ones where we will track it, and we have the rules and definitions defined for it. Rest of it, we can use most of it only for the reporting of it.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay, can we move?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just clicking save and close. So this is where we will try to edit it. So we have it. It has been created. I'm just clicking save and close. So we have created the structure for this instance, and we are going to create instance.
Instance is chart of accounts, sir.
Yeah, chart of account. So there is a small difference between R12 and Fusion, where we don't have this concept of chart of account instance. So instance is nothing but that chart of accounts might be having 10 segments, but if we wanted to use only the 4 or 5 segments, we can give it here. So if you check here also, I'll just try to show it here. So always while attaching it to the ledger, we will use the instance, but not the COA structure. So here we can select our chart of accounts. So that is enable KFF. So here you can see that it is not enabled. So since we have chosen only 2 segments, I'm just going to enable both the segment. If not, we can use maybe out of 10 segments, we can enable 5 or 6 segments, and we can use for the particular ledger. And if we have another requirement for the different ledger, then we can utilize other segments, or all the 10 segments, and we can use it for the different ledger. So that is the purpose of COA structure at instance level. So I click here. So required is mandatory here. Unless we give required, we will not be able to use it for the transaction or attach with the ledger. So here we have another thing called tree. The tree is nothing but our parent-child relation, which we have it in R12. So yeah, here they call it as an tree structure. So I'm giving for account also. Yeah, so we are done, and I'm just clicking save and close. I think the data
I
didn't
didn't
save.
save, so yeah, it's just,
Why first time is showing an error?
There is some technical issues because this is Vision instance, so everyone is using this.
Okay, okay.
So if two users logs in and uses this, we might get this kind of lock issues
error.
sometimes.
Oh, right, right. Same thing.
Yeah, so we have COA instance created. So after that, we will have to click deploy flex field. So this is something like in compiling the flex field. So it is just a term change. So when we click this deployment process, system will basically validates all the chart of accounts in this environment. So let's say for an implementation, we have created 3 to 4 chart of accounts for the different countries of the same company. Then system will look into the validations and errors of all the 4 chart of accounts. So where we can click this button and we can see what is the error and what is that we have to correct it. So basically to create the ledger, we need 4 C's. So that is chart of accounts, calendar, and we need accounting convention. And before that, we need to load the balances for the chart of accounts and this. So these are the prerequisite to create a ledger. So where we have created the chart of account structure and we have created the chart of accounts instance. And after we deploy it, since we have already loaded the sample values, I mean manually, so we can straight away go to the accounting calendar. And maybe we can use INR or USD currency to do the transaction in this ledger. So what we will do after this deployment is that we will create the accounting calendar. So if we take this R12, where if we want to create the calendar in R12, we will have to load the balances through data loader, because the manual addition is like it will take it is basically time consuming. So what we will do is like we will load the values in data loader and we will load in system. But whereas in Fusion, it is entirely different, where we don't need to use the data loader and other things. So system will take care of loading the values. I will show how it will works.
Okay.
So first step you are creating segment, then you are attaching the segment to segment parameters, right? That
Yeah, yes, labels.
segment rules, then you are processing. Yeah,
Yeah, yes. So we will start
validation.
with the value set. After creating the value set, then we will create the segments. So after the creation of the segments, we will come and attach this created segments or the structure with the COA instance. So once this is attached and ready, then we will deploy it. So the system will tell us whether we have any validation issues. This.
Oh, validation.
Yeah.
So the values, what will you do? You will load through data loader, values for the value set.
Now for this, they have this custom way of loading it, where we can utilize
Okay.
this Excel sheet, and through that we
Ah.
can load it. So that is what we were
Oh.
saying in the last session about the UCM. So UCM will
Oh.
basically take care of all these activities, where Excel file will be placed in a particular table and it will process and it will put in the base table. So
Okay.
it will be done in another 5 or 10 minutes maximum.
Okay. So we'll see in this session.
Yeah, yes, we will see.
Okay. Thank you. Successful.
So we have success and we have deployed it, and we can see the deployment status as clear. So the next step is to create calendar. So here we have calendar, and we choose accounting calendar. And I click add button. So I'm giving, for example, I'm giving January to December, normal calendar year. And system has already suggested me that to go with one at the year end. So this is adjusting period where if you want to pass any adjustment entries, so where we can have it at mid-year at once, or if you want to have beginning year. So we have basically different options to choose it. So I'm choosing once at year end. And I'm clicking next. So this is what I was saying, that in R12 we need to load it using data loader, but in Fusion we don't need to load it. Basically system will take care of all these activities. So it has created the values and it has enabled this adjusting period also. And I'm just clicking save. So now for an sample case, maybe we can use for 1 year. But in real time scenario, it is not always the 1 year. We will have to load at least for 4 to 5 years. So what we can do is like we have another option, add year. So if we click, the moment we click add year, system will automatically create all these values. So all we are going to do is just click add year. That's it. So Fusion basically simplified all the processes. Yeah, so we have it. And if you see here, it is 2020. I'm just clicking add here. So you can see that this is for 2021.
Mm.
So similarly, we can add a number of years. So I'm just giving only 2 years. I'm closing this. So I have created it, and let me create the legal entity. So if we don't know any specific functionality or where it has been placed, we can search here. So I'm just clicking manage legal entity. I'm just clicking create new. So I have chosen default United States. And before creating the legal entity, actually we wanted to create the location. Since I have already created the location, I'm just going to select from the list of values. So I'll show you how to create location also. So I'm creating town hall. address. So I have selected payroll statutory unit and the legal employee. So the reason why I have enabled this as an legal employer is that if I wanted to use this for